Greetings, everyone, and welcome to MIT's first ever online commencement. We gather today in a time when the world is relying on science, technology, and the humanities for leadership and guidance. It's science that gives us the wisdom to know that this is not a moment for large gatherings. Eventually, it'll be science, technology, and the humanities that give us the knowledge and the tools to beat this pandemic and make an in-person commencement possible once again. And for now, it's generations of technological achievement that unite us as a real community. Although we may be separated from each other physically today, thanks to technology, we can indeed be together today in spirit. The spirit that binds the MIT community together is pretty remarkable. It's immune to pandemic disease, impervious to external forces, and indifferent to the laws of time and space. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank the entire MIT community for mobilizing so quickly to make this event happen. It required tremendous adaptability, perseverance, and extraordinary effort and creativity. But then, that's what you'd expect from the MIT community. Today, we celebrate those same qualities in our 2020 degree recipients. I'd also like to take this opportunity to salute our class of 1970 alumni celebrating their 50th reunion. The class of 1970 understands what it's like to have a commencement disrupted by events of the world. Back then, it was the height of the Vietnam War, and the US had just invaded Cambodia. I was an MIT sophomore then, and I remember it well. Tensions on campus were high, and no one was in the mood to celebrate. In fact, nearly 500 MIT graduates opted not to attend commencement that year. The class of 1970 stood out then and now for its deeply felt social conscience. Rather than celebrating their own accomplishments that day, graduating seniors chose to, as one class member remembered it, join in 2 minutes of silent consideration of what we can do to help resolve the conflicts that divide mankind in this country and around the world. That reminder of our collective responsibility to the larger world still resonates today, and it's a fitting segue to our next speaker. Delivering today's invocation from Lexington, Mass. is MIT's Episcopal Chaplain, the Reverend Thea Keith Lucas.
Congratulations. In other years, I would come out of my office at the corner of Amherst and Mass Ave and see a long line of graduates crossing the campus. I can almost imagine you there, dressed in your robes, laughing and jostling on your way to Killian Court. I would join other staff members and friends on the sidewalk, waving and clapping. We would burst into cheers as we celebrated all your hard work and your bright promise. But this is not like other years. This is one of those moments when we stop short at the edge of a chasm between what is and what was supposed to be. Your spirits are wide enough to hold more than one truth, strong enough to find joy and pride in this ceremony, and also to mourn the loss of that day you imagined. As hard as it can be, seeing the gap between what is and what could be is part of your power. One of your strengths is being right here with your feet firmly planted on the ground. Throughout your time at MIT, you discovered your own resourcefulness. You took risks, learned from failures, and conquered many challenges. This pandemic has shown us your ability to act quickly to protect your own and others' safety, to adapt to a new reality, and to ask for help from all the people at home and here at MIT who gave their best to support you. You are practical and realistic, and yet you are more. You are dreamers who can look across that gap and see not only what might have been, but also what might become. Maybe you see a healthy community where hundreds of people can gather without fear to share the joy of a day like this. Maybe there's another vision that lights up your mind and your heart. The things we lose, the things we long for, become our dreams, the sources of passion within us that drive us forward to create something new. Let us acknowledge what might have been, the hopes and plans that got upended by this global crisis. Let us celebrate what is, the learning and growth from your years at MIT that nothing can ever take from you. And let us look forward to what may be as you transform your dreams into a better world for us all.
Thank you, Reverend Keith Lucas. Every year, we invite a distinguished speaker to address the graduating class. Our guest speakers are accomplished role models who can share the lessons they've learned and the insights they've gained, preparing our graduates as they venture out to build their lives and their careers. This year's speaker brings an extraordinarily broad perspective to the proceedings. He's a person of great accomplishment, great insight, and great integrity. He served for 37 years in the United States Navy, including commanding special operations for the Navy SEALs. A renowned foreign policy expert, he's advised Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama. His 3 books include Make Your Bed, a #1 New York Times bestseller in which he shares 10 principles we can all use to change ourselves and the world for the better. And for 4 years, he led the University of Texas, his alma mater, an enormous academic and healthcare system comprising 14 different institutions and serving 239,000 students. His ideas are as noteworthy as his professional accomplishments. He's a strong advocate for public investment in scholarships and immigration policies that enable universities to attract and educate the world's most dynamic talent. And he's a vocal supporter and practitioner of free speech, who has spoken out forcefully in defense of America's values. It's a great honor for me to welcome, from Austin, Texas, Admiral William H. McGraven.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. President Reif, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, and of course, the MIT graduating class of 2020. It is truly an honor for me to have the opportunity to address you today. You know, I had an entirely different speech prepared for this afternoon. It was a nice little speech. It was about how you, the brilliant men and women of MIT, are like the Navy SEALs of academia. I made some good analogies. I had some cute little anecdotes and some lessons from my career, but somehow that speech just didn't seem right in light of all that has happened in the past 5 months. The fact that I'm standing here alone and that you are isolated somewhere at home is proof enough that the world has changed. But there is a part of the speech that I retained. It was the part about heroes, and how after all these years, I came to realize that the heroes we need are not the heroes I'd been searching for. When I was a young boy growing up in the 50s and 60s, I always envisioned myself as the hero. I always wanted to be Superman, with his powers to fly, his invulnerability, and his super strength. A hero who saved the world every day from some catastrophe. Or Batman, Spider-Man, the Black Panther, the team of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and my favorite of all, Aquaman. I so wanted to ride on the back of a seahorse and fight evil underwater. But as I grew up and traveled the world, and as I saw more than my share of war and destruction, I came to the hard truth that Captain America isn't coming to the rescue. There is no Superman, no Batman, no Wonder Woman, no Black Widow, no Avengers, no Justice League, no Gandalf, no Harry Potter, and no Aquaman. If we are going to save the world from pandemics, war, climate change, poverty, racism, extremism, intolerance, then you, the brilliant minds of MIT, you are going to have to save the world. But as remarkable as you are, your intellect and talent alone will not be sufficient. I've seen my share of real heroes on the battlefield in Iraq and Afghanistan, in the hospitals fighting COVID-19, on the streets keeping America safe and open. And I know that there are other qualities necessary to be today's heroes. So if you'll bear with this old sailor for a minute or two, I'd like to offer some thoughts on the other qualities you will need to help save the world. First, you must have courage. Winston Churchill once said that courage was the most important quality of all because it guaranteed all the rest. He was not just talking about the physical courage to charge the hill, run into a burning building, or stop a madman with a gun. He was also talking about moral courage, the courage to stand up for your convictions. Physical courage has long been the hallmark of a great warrior. But I would offer that the moral courage to stand up for what's right has an equal place in the pantheon of heroes. If you hope to save the world, you will have to stand by your convictions. You will have to confront the ignorant with facts. You will have to challenge the zealots with reason. You will have to defy the naysayers and the weak-kneed who have not the constitution to stand tall. You will have to speak truth to power. But if your cause is good and decent and worthy and honorable and has the possibility of saving even one of God's creatures, then you must do what all heroes do. You must summon the courage to fight and fight hard for your convictions. You must yell them from the mountaintop. You must shout them from the lectern. You must write in bold, cursive, and underlined phrases. You must bring your convictions out from the darkness and the subtlety of your heart and into the light of day. They must be made public and challenged and confronted and argued. There will always be those who don't want to hear your convictions, particularly if they are true. Speaking the truth can be dangerous, but those that came before you, Copernicus, Galileo, Kepler, Madame Curie, Grace Hopper, and Katherine Johnson, those brilliant minds, those tellers of truth who made the world a more knowledgeable place, a more compassionate place, a more livable place, they had courage. If you are going to save the world, you will need courage. If you're going to save the world, you will need to be humble. In my career, I've been blessed to be around some great minds. I've seen how the brilliant men and women have helped eradicate disease, reduce poverty, create technological masterpieces. But conversely, I have seen how the misguided geniuses, filled with conceit and convinced of their own righteousness, have tampered with nature, built apocalyptic machines, dehumanized social interactions, and tilted towards tyranny. If you do not approach the world with humility, it will find a way to humble you. I found in my time in the military that no experience on earth was more humbling than combat. The crucible of war teaches you every day that you are not invincible, that the enemy in bare feet and carrying only Kalashnikovs can sometimes defeat the best soldiers and the best technology in the world. And if you believe for a moment that you are superior, you will be humbled quickly. But if you approach every mission with a decent respect for the mountains, the rivers, the oceans, and the enemy, you are more likely to succeed. In Plato's rendition of Socrates' Apology, Socrates defends the charges against him by telling the jury of Athenian nobles that he is the wisest man in the world, far wiser than any of the robed men sitting in judgment. When questioned about how he could be so bold as to make this statement, Socrates says that he is the wisest because he knows so very little of the world. To solve the world's problems, you will have to realize how little you know. You must be able to look to the stars, peer through a microscope, gaze at the oceans, and be humbled. To believe for even a moment that you have all the answers, that you know the truths of the universe, that you are wiser than all the men and women who came before you, is the tale of every great man and woman who amounted to nothing. Only when you are humble, only when you realize the limits of your understanding, the shortfalls of your knowledge, the boundaries of your intellect, only then can you find the answers you are seeking. If you're going to save the world, you must persevere through difficult times. Life as a SEAL is all about perseverance. Can you make it through SEAL training without ringing the bell? Can you make it through the long family separations, the exhausting deployments, the loss of a fellow warrior in combat? Sometimes saving the world is just about holding on, never quitting no matter what obstacles face you. A good friend of mine who graduated from the University of Texas in 1969 pursued a career in medicine. His mother had died of lymphoma when he was about 11, and he was obsessed with finding a cure. For decades, he pursued an idea that most in the medical field dismissed as fantasy. Could the human body really use its own immune system to fight cancer? He never ever gave up on his pursuit. And in 2018, Dr. Jim Allison was awarded the Nobel Prize for medicine. There are the occasional great men and women of science who changed history at an early age. But most discoveries, most achievements, most triumphs are the product of a long and painful process. And only the most resolute, the ones that can persevere through the failure, the rejection, the ridicule, the emotional and physical strain of time, those are the ones most likely to save the world. If you hope to save the world, you must be prepared to sacrifice. The Special Operations Forces are filled with memorials of remarkable men and women who gave their all in the defense of the nation. Medal of Honor recipients like Mike Murphy, Mike Mansour, John Chapman, and Robbie Miller. Remarkable women like Ashley White and Jennifer Moreno. The heroes of helicopters, Turbine 3-3 and Extortion 1-7. SEALs and soldiers who answered the call and never returned. All great Americans who sacrificed their lives so that their teammates might live. But there is a more mundane, yet essential sacrifice that is required if you want to save the world. As SEALs, we train hard every day, long, torturous hours of physical pain, rucksack marches, open ocean swim, miles of running, and hours of calisthenics. They're all sacrifices necessary to be ready when the world needs you. In his time, Thomas Edison developed 1,500 patents, from the electric light to the phonograph, to the movie camera, to the vacuum diode, and the carbon microphone. He saved the world from darkness, but in doing so, it required him to work 20 hours a day. His home front was often strained. His other business ventures struggled to survive, and his health always seemingly in jeopardy. It would be easy to stand up here and tell you that there is a wondrous place where you can be great at both work and life, where your efforts to make a difference in the world come easy. But I have never found that place. In the end, if your goal is a noble one, then your sacrifice will be worth it, and you will be proud of what you have accomplished. To save the world, you will have to be men and women of great integrity, always trying to do what is moral, legal, and ethical. It will not be easy, and I dare say you will fail occasionally. You will fail because you are human. You will fail because life often forces you into a seemingly untenable position. You will fail because good and evil are always in conflict. And when you fail to uphold your integrity, it should make you sick to your stomach. It should give you sleepless nights. You should be so tortured that you promise yourself never to do it again. You see, being a hero will not be easy. It will not be easy because you are not men and women of steel. You are not cloaked in a suit of armor. You are not infused with unearthly powers. You are real heroes. And what makes real heroes are their struggles and their ability to overcome them. But no matter how mightily you might struggle, the world will believe in you. The world will follow you, allow themselves to be saved if they know you to be honest, trustworthy, of good character and good faith, men and women of integrity. Finally, to save the world, you must have compassion. You must ache for the poor and disenfranchised. You must fear for the vulnerable. You must weep for the ill and infirmed. You must pray for those who are without hope. And you must be kind to the less fortunate. For what hero gives so much of themselves without caring for those they are trying to save? As we sign off from this virtual commencement, I want you to promise me one thing. Promise me that you will be the last class to miss a commencement because of a pandemic, the last class to miss a commencement because of war, the last class to miss a commencement because of climate change, unrest, tyranny, extremism, active shooters, intolerance, and apathy. Batman and Superman are not coming to save the world. It will be up to you. But never in my life have I been so confident that the fate of the world is in good hands. Go forth and be the heroes we need you to be. Thank you, and congratulations.
Hello, I'm Iran Agozi, class of 95 and professor of music technology here at MIT. You're about to hear a piece of music composed specifically for today's commencement. But there's a twist. We asked the MIT community, and in particular this year's graduates, to sing a single note and be part of a collective experience that we are calling Comusica. We received over 800 contributions, and then our amazing team of MIT coders, videographers, and sound designers stitched them all together into a collaborative work that celebrates our graduating students coming together as one MIT. I hope you enjoy it.
Congratulations to all of our graduating masters and PhDs, and congratulations to the undergraduate class of 2020. I know that I'm speaking to all of you in a very strange time, a time where seeing friends is somehow harder than ever, even with video calls, a time where the spontaneity that we so cherish from our on-campus interactions isn't possible, a time where the celebrations that we were all looking forward to have been canceled or postponed. This is a time of tremendous loss in so many different ways for all of us and all of humanity. And I want to acknowledge that with a brief moment of silence. What the coronavirus cannot take away, though, is all that we have gained from our time at MIT. From the knowledge and skills acquired through classes and projects, extracurriculars and side hustles, and late-night conversations and experiments with friends, to the friendships, networks, and relationships built through interactions with people across campus, to the diverse perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences we've all been exposed to, particularly as this pandemic strips away all of the equalizing features of the on-campus experience. And if there's anything that this pandemic has showed us, is that MIT really is a bubble. That real life is significantly more complicated and less forgiving. That there are inequalities everywhere, both in the resources we all have access to and the people in our lives who we can turn to for help. If we're going to shape the future and build a better world, we'll need to take those complications and inequalities into account and work to eliminate them. We'll need to build systems that show empathy for the diversity and richness of the human experience and recognize that there's rarely a one-size-fits-all solution. We'll need the skills and perspectives provided by all of you across all disciplines. You all are equipped to lead us through these times to a better future, and all of you have already achieved so much to get to this point. Congratulations again to all of our graduates. I look forward to one day seeing you all in person and working with you to build a better world. And now, I'll pass it on to Nacho, president of the senior class, who will offer his salute.
Before I give any type of speech, to my Black men in the audience, I am so proud of you. You are beautiful, and you deserve to live as much as anyone else, despite what anyone says. I would like to thank all the families and friends of the 2020 graduates for tuning into our program today. While we all understand that this format is far inadequate in celebrating this tremendous accomplishment, your attendance here is a reflection of the love and dedication you have shown us graduates for the last 4 years that has made it possible for us to reach this mountaintop. And to my fellow graduates, the class of 2020, congratulations on your many accomplishments, achievements, and wins in the last 4 years that have led to this moment. When the journey is suddenly cut short like this, however, I find myself thinking less of the things I have done, but more of the things I have not. Regrets that we all believe if we had a little more time could have been memories and moments. Even if we had those last few months together, we would all likely still leave MIT with numerous regrets of what could have been and what we could have done. This period is a reminder that time is not only limited, but the limits on that time are uncertain, and we never really know when our time will be up. Only when we are aware that our time is nearing an end do we actually make the most of the time left and live in the moment. So I urge you all, class of 2020, to live the rest of your lives with the mindset you likely had when you were told we had a week left in our college careers. Take risks, go all in, shoot your shot. Find the things that will make you feel fulfilled every day. Don't wait until your last day to do the things you wanted to do since your first. Don't wait until it's too late to share lasting memories with the people who bring us up and to forget those who bring us down. Finally, let's start today to seek to better understand ourselves, look out for our mental and emotional health, and to strive to become the best versions of ourselves so we can go get that life that will bring us the most happiness. We have all left an indelible imprint on this institution we are leaving, an imprint symbolized by our 2020 class ring. Unique to us, designed by us, the brass rat has been our constant companion since our sophomore year. Through all the trials and tribulations, it has been an omnipresent reminder of our collegiate journey and our unique, special stories. Since we first put on our brass rats, we have worn them from the Cambridge perspective, always looking at the Boston skyline and the world beyond MIT. In a moment, as we prepare to take our places in that broader world, I'll ask us all to turn our rings around so that from this day forward, we will always see the familiar silhouette of MIT when we look down. Let it be a kind of symbol throughout our lives, continuously reinforcing MIT's core values of integrity, community, inclusion, collaboration, and innovation in everything we do. In that spirit, I ask you all now to raise your right hand and turn your brass rat. The right way, in person. But until then, I wish you and your loved ones safety, security, and peace. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Greetings from 220 miles above our beautiful planet Earth. How's that for social distancing? You don't have to be aboard the International Space Station to see that our Earth is a rare and precious gem, fragile yet resilient, turbulent yet orderly, beleaguered yet enduring. Even in these unsettling times, it's a home that beckons. I'm delighted to join you and all MIT alumni in congratulating our 2020 graduates. Your intellect, hard work, and resourcefulness have served you well. The space station actually offers a great perspective from which to view your future. Seen from our windows here, Earth has no borders, no boundaries, and no conflicts, just a common humanity sharing common problems on a remote outpost down a small spiral arm of the Milky Way. As you move on from this day, I know you will keep honoring that common humanity and working to solve those common problems, no matter what gets in your way. In fact, 20 years ago, I was on Killian Court, celebrating the completion of my master's degree in ocean engineering. Without any idea of the challenges that 9/11 would bring our nation, the challenges of ground combat in Afghanistan, or the challenge of the astronaut selection process. It's been a long road in more ways than one, from cave combat to commanding a multinational microgravity research laboratory. Life will take you places you never imagined, but you will see your way through it. The key is to hold true to MIT's values of integrity, collaboration, inclusion, and innovation. They've never steered me wrong. And now it is my honor to introduce the man who steers this mighty institution with a steady hand and a steadfast heart, President Rafael Reif.
Good afternoon. And Chris, thank you so very much for your very kind words and for the powerful example of your life and your service. May the global family of the International Space Station be our inspiration. And to the MIT graduates of 2020, congratulations. As you can see, I'm speaking to you from Killian Court. Well, kind of. In fact, I'm keenly aware that I'm not there and that all of you are not here. Without you, I'm finding this experience pretty lonely. So I thought perhaps we can find a way to fix it. But it turns out that nothing can possibly replace the sense of being connected in one joyful time and place with 3,500 freshly minted MIT graduates and the people who helped them get there. In a typical year, we spend many weeks before commencement worrying about the weather. But it turns out that in all the most important ways, the day is always beautiful because our graduates are sparkling with accomplishment and possibility, and their families are radiant with pride. Everyone looks terrific, even in those clear plastic rain ponchos. In fact, at MIT, commencement is the very best day of the year. It's a day of warm hugs and huge smiles, champagne and strawberries, hundreds of strange and colorful academic hats, and thousands of handshakes. Remember those? A day when absolutely no one still has to finish a PSET. And a day when the entire purpose, meaning, and mission of the Institute are embodied in our new graduates. Today, though you are scattered across nearly every time zone, everything we value about MIT is embodied in you. Physically, I cannot see any of you, but I would like to think, I would like to know, and I would like you to know, that in the deepest sense, I do see you. I see the extraordinary range of ways that you and your families have struggled and endured these past 11 weeks, weeks that have tested all of us. I also see that some of you might need a haircut. Me too. I see how you have supported and encouraged one another through all the dislocation and disruption. I see how you have done your best to recreate remotely what you love most about MIT. I see your pain in losing those sweet weeks of spring, of saying goodbye to MIT and to each other. And I see and feel your uncertainty about the future. But I also see what you accomplished in the time before we knew the word COVID. Right before World War II, my parents escaped from Eastern Europe. And for the rest of his life, my father would say to me, invest in your education. Because if you ever have to leave in a hurry, education is the only thing you can take with you. To a spectacular degree, all of you have invested yourselves in your education, in our classrooms and laboratories, on our playing fields and stages, and in all the places you call home at MIT. I'm inspired by your curiosity, imagination, self-discipline and drive, and by your willingness to plunge into what may be the most intense and demanding course of study anywhere. Recently, you had to leave your familiar MIT lives in a great hurry. But I know that you have equipped yourself extremely well for whatever will come next. At this moment, I also see quite a few small children out there who are eager for me to stop talking. So I believe it is time to deliver my charge to you. I've always believed that as members of the great global family of MIT, we must do everything in our power to help make a better world. In that spirit, I'm going to use a word that feels very comfortable at MIT, although I know it has taken on a troubling new meaning elsewhere. But I also know that our graduates will know what I mean. As you begin your next chapter, I want to ask you to hack the world until you make the world a little more like MIT, more daring and more passionate, more rigorous, inventive and ambitious, more humble, more respectful, more generous, more kind. And because the people of MIT also like to fix things that are broken, as you strive to hack the world, please try to heal the world too. Please help us respond to this brutal pandemic with wisdom, foresight, compassion, and science. Help us rebuild the habits of trust, empathy, precise language, and thoughtful listening that are so essential to a healthy society. And please help us all succeed in remembering our common humanity. MIT is now sharing with the world 3,500 new graduates who are ready for this timely and timeless problem set. You came to MIT with exceptional qualities of your own. And now, after years of focus and intense dedication, you leave us equipped with a distinctive set of skills and steeped in our community's deepest values. A commitment to excellence, integrity, meritocracy, inclusion, boldness, humility, an open spirit of collaboration, a strong desire to make a positive impact, and a sense of responsibility to make the world a better place. So now, go out there, join the world, find your calling, solve the unsolvable, invent the future, take the high road, and you will continue to make your family, including your MIT family, proud. Now, this is not the commencement day that any of us could have imagined. At some safe time in the future, we will hold one of these for you in person, right back here at MIT. But for today, I have to give you something much more important than my advice, your diplomas. So here goes. By virtue of the authority delegated by the Corporation of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and on the recommendation of the faculty, I'm delighted to announce the awarding of degrees. For those of you who elected to receive a digital diploma, your degree has been delivered to the Block Search wallet on your mobile device. And for all of you, the launch will commence in 5, 4, 3, 2, now! Bachelor of Science in all schools and departments. Master's degrees in all programs. Doctoral degrees in all programs. On this wonderful day, I'm proud of all of you. To every one of the members of the graduating class of 2020, please accept my best wishes for a happy and successful life and career. Congratulations.
fellow graduates, women and men from MIT, I salute you, I congratulate you, and I honor you. It is a bittersweet occasion graduating in these very unique circumstances. You're missing the chance to be all together on this special day. You've missed your last few months on campus, the opportunity to forge bonds with your cohort that will last you a lifetime. But remember, you're the lucky ones. You get to graduate having done most of your work here at MIT, and you're as equipped as anyone to deal with the challenges that await us. If you're like me, you might feel a bit intimidated by this luck. How can I repay this huge debt I have to the world to have had a chance to graduate from MIT with an advanced degree when others' lives got cut short or profoundly disrupted? Faced with that, it is tempting to look for a magic bullet to solve the whole problem at once. Or if you realize that it is not possible, to get despondent, to get discouraged, to get depressed, and to just do something else. And this is what I want to talk to you about today, using, as appropriate, some high-minded literary quotation. Since you were busy with your graduate work, you may have missed one of the important developments in children's literature, which is the publication of a last installment of Dave Pilkey's excellent series called Dogman. Dogman. At the end of this book, Flippy, a biomechanical fish who might as well have been invented at MIT, forgoes the opportunity to go live with his best friend Little Petey and his family, and instead decide to take care of 22 tadpoles who, through a series of unfortunate events, have found themselves orphaned. Little Petey and his dad leave the fish in the pond, and they go home and discuss. I'm going to read you part of that discussion. See, Papa, I told you how Flippy was a good guy. Yeah, I guess so. He's changing the world. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, come on. All he's really doing is looking after a few baby tadpoles. That's not really gonna change the world. Maybe not, but it will change their world. Remember that. Like the war on cancer, the war on COVID is not going to be won in one major battle. Instead, it will take thousands of small victories, and no doubt many, many setbacks along the way. And this is true not just for COVID, but for the fight against poverty, for the war against climate change, for finding a cure for Alzheimer, or indeed for any of the challenges that await us. On any of this topic, my conviction is that it is possible to make significant progress by focusing on small, manageable issues and addressing each of these issues as rigorously as possible. So pick your issue and go for it with all your heart, all your mind, and all your knowledge. Be nimble, be ready to pivot. No issue is too small, no issue is too specific, as long as you can learn from it, and as long as you hold yourself to the highest standard when you're trying to solve it. It will take patience and effort. Progress will be slow, but it is inevitable. It will take thousands of people working on different aspects of the problem, building on each other's victories. So get some rest, graduates, and then get started. There is a lot of work in front of us.
MIT's first online commencement is now concluded. Congratulations to the class of 2020 from the entire MIT community. I'd like to thank everyone who joined us today across the continents of the globe, surrounded by family via PC, laptop, tablet, phone, or whatever else you use to see this. We've truly come together as one MIT to celebrate our newest graduates. It's been quite an experience, and there's more to come. We look forward to continuing this celebration when we'll be able to gather together safely in person, perhaps even without a mask. In a moment, we'll join the chorallaries in our school song, after which Dr. Erich Caulfield, president of the MIT Alumni Association, will offer a greeting and introduce a scrolling recognition of all our graduates. But before we do that, we'd like to thank alumnus and composer Jamid Sharifi, Jean Dunayer, conductor Fred Harris, and the MIT Wind Ensemble for their moving performance of To the Light, to the Flame. We'd also like to express our appreciation to Professors Evan Zaporian and Aaron Agozi and Ike Schwang for their collaboration on the extraordinary Comusica project, as well as the Astro alumnus and ISS Commander Chris Cassidy and our friends at NASA and everyone whose talents and efforts contributed to today's ceremony. And now, from wherever you are in the world, please join the MIT chorallaries who will sing our song and lead a community-sourced performance of Take Me Back to Tech.
I'm crazy after calculus, I never had enough. 'Twas hard to be dragged away so young, 'twas horribly, awfully tough. Hoorah for technology, ology, ology, oh, glorious old technology, ology, ology, oh.
Back in the days that were free from theology, varsity shop,
with nothing to do but analyze and manometrical talk.
the differentiation of the trigonometric powers,
The constant pi that made me sigh those happy days of ours. Hoorah for technology, ology, ology, oh, glorious old technology, ology, ology, oh.
Take me back on a special train to the glorious institute.
I yearn for the inspiration of the technological toot.
I shun the quizzical, physical, powerful chapel and all that. But how I'd love to go again on scientific fact. La 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 la
152 years ago, the first graduates of a small technical university in Massachusetts began an intrepid journey, commenced the grand procession that would march through the corridors of history, whose footsteps would echo across the epic expanse of time to be heard in every corner of the globe, whose legacy would be forged upon a bedrock of rigorous study, the pursuit of excellence, and a deep and boundless passion for improving the human condition. Today, in graduating from MIT, you become the newest caretakers of that legacy. For as rich as our traditions have become and as proud as we are of our shared history, we are better today because you are joining us. And so, allow me to congratulate you on your triumphant transition from what Merriam-Webster defines as proto-alumni, alumni, and alums, to recent graduates and the newest members of our community. When I take a moment to think about who you are as a group of graduates, what I think about is a magnificently marvelous mosaic of men and women, of people of passion and triumph and commitment, who have become the very embodiment of toughness, perseverance, and grit, who represent the collective hopes, dreams, and aspirations of countless comrades and ancestors who have aspired and prayed for centuries to join with you here in this moment today. Now, I would make the observation that when you think about what it is that you have accomplished, what comes to my mind are the words of the 19th century English poet Arthur William Edgar O'Shaughnessy, who wrote, and I quote, "We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers on whom the pale moon gleams. Yet we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems," end quote. And it is that spirit which lives inside each of you that the world needs most right now. Now, the irony of all that you have accomplished is this: you have proven that you are now ready to leave MIT because you have outgrown the Institute. And so, now that you have come to MIT and become mathematically mature, scientifically sophisticated, econometrically intimidating, pedagogically proficient, preternaturally efficient, problem-solving, tech-evolving forces of nature, and such, you are now prepared to take your place at the great helm of history and to steer a course such that future generations will say with passionate regard that you graduated from MIT and the world is a better place because of it. And so on this day of celebration, I would urge you to reflect on this one important fact. Your MIT degree means more than just an academic accomplishment. What it actually represents is permission to put purpose to your passion. And so whether your passion is something that you discovered in a lab or a class at MIT, or it's a dream you've had your whole life that is smoldered in the recesses of your mind and your heart, but you never actually thought that you could do it, I want to share with you today, dear graduates, that your MIT experience has prepared you to do exactly that. Because the awesome constellation that makes you who you are is exactly what the world needs most right now. And so, although the way that you are processing from our great institution today is by historic circumstances unique, it is for that very reason that people all over the world celebrate enthusiastically with you today because of what you represent for the future of society and indeed for human history. And so whatever your dreams might be, I would urge you to trust the passion that lives in your heart and to follow the call of history that leads to the destiny that awaits you. And so on behalf of those of us who have, like you, had the fortune to sojourn in that special place, to tread upon that sacred ground, but for a short while, on behalf of those of us who, like you, carry within us the academic DNA that compels us to work wisely, creatively, and effectively for the betterment of humankind, On behalf of the 139,000 of your newest MIT brothers, sisters, siblings all around the world who are tremendously proud to call you the newest members of our community. On behalf of the MIT Alumni Association, congratulations and welcome to the family. We will now have a recognition of the graduates, which will serve as the conclusion for today's ceremony and as the prelude for our post-ceremony events.